Hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and I'm not really sure why, but I've started getting comments of people questioning if I actually wear the stuff that I make, which I don't know why that is. Most of my wardrobe is thrifted and then refashioned, so I don't know. I do wear the stuff I make all the time. Not every single thing makes it into my wardrobe rotation, of course, but you know, 90% of it does, like this adorable set. And if you want to transform a frumpy dress into a fantastic summer top and short set, I'll link the tutorial down below for you. But if you recall my recent thrift haul, that rhymes, I scored this absolutely gorgeous vintage super cutie patootie house dress, and we're gonna transform it today into something to wear to the Barbie movie. So let's get making! For this Barbie-rific project, all you need is your adorably pink, slightly oversized house dress. And let's just do a little bit of vintage tag appreciation here. Look at this Mr. Robert, or maybe it was Monsieur Robert. I just love vintage tags so much, like the fancy writing and really the bare minimum of information and just one tag. We don't need to have 500 tags, do we? I like this. It is easy to understand and straight to the point. And it's just really cool looking too. Monsieur Robert. Okay, so clearly the first thing we have to do is cut this to the length that we want our top to have. And I did put this on, but unfortunately realized that the pockets start quite high up here. And so I desperately want to keep the pockets as they are. So I'm just going to chop on through above the top seam here of the pockets. And then I might have to add some bottom fabric to my top. We shall see once it's all chopped up. Okay, so my top part is chopped off, but there are some rather large spaces here in between the buttons that I don't think need to be there. And because I can get this over my head without having to undo any of the buttons, I am just going to carefully stitch this stitch this button placket all together, so then it just isn't going to be flippy flapping around and, you know, showing my bits and bobs to the world. So I'm going to go do that, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do with the bottom. Okay, so I have this all nicely stitched together. It is not going to open up. And as I was stitching, I saw that not only are the buttons loose here, but they're boring. So I went and grabbed my little container full of cutie patootie buttons, and I actually did a poll about this on my community tab. And here we go. We're going to be going with these strawberries because how adorable! How totally adorable is that going to be? So I'm going to go switch out the buttons, and then I think I'm just going to bind the bottom hem with some of this lovely white lace, and then we'll come back and see the results. So the bottom hem is all bound up with that pretty vintage lace, and check out those adorable strawberry buttons. I really don't think this top could get any cuter, do you? Okay, I have been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about how to do something with the bottom of the dress now, and I desperately wanted to try to do a pair of like side zip trousers, but somehow still using this button placket, but clearly I can't do that because if I turn this to the side, which I thought, hey, that would be super clever, right? And then the buttons are here. The pockets are then right there, and another one on my behind, so that doesn't work. The other thing I was remembering is when I did this top and short set, it was also out of a kind of frumpy looking house dress, but it was about the same amount of fabric, and I did have to kind of cleverly chop up the remaining fabric of this one and add panels to the sides here because the shorts just were way too tight for me. And because this is about the same amount of fabric, and it has pockets, and it has this big applique, and it has a button placket, I really don't want to risk destroying this trying to make a pair of trousers when I don't know what I'm doing. But I will try to make a pair of trousers. I'm just going to do it with, you know, some of the many huge pieces of fabric that I have in my stash. So that will be coming up soon. But as far as this goes, I mean, I think I just got to do a skirt, right? That's all I can do. But here, you see, because this is so close to the top and the pocket starts like almost right at the top as well, I think I'm going to have to take some fabric from the bottom and move it up to the top to make a wider waistband. And that's okay because this is actually that kind of midi below the knee length right now, which I'm not super fond of. So let's go and see how that's going to work out. So just like I did with the top, I went ahead and stitched down the button placket so it's not going to open anymore because again, those spaces between the buttons were fine for a house dress, but not so great for something you're going to wear outside. Okay, so I think, as I said, I'm going to chop off a generous portion of the bottom here. I'm going to go just below the final button because my applique ends here. So I think that should give more than enough space. Plus, this area here should give me plenty of space to create my waistband. So I'm just going to chop this. Okay, so I have the bottom chopped off, and I did actually take a little bit of extra time and I replaced the buttons on the skirt with these cute little flowers that I had in my stash that I think they match pretty good. Okay, now let's work on the waistband. So here is that piece of the bottom that I chopped off, and I'm going to add it to the top here, but clearly it is too wide because it was from the bottom of this skirt. So first I'm going to measure the width of the top of my skirt and then chop this piece to the right size. Okay, so I now have my top piece chopped to the right size and stitched into a lovely tube. And because this was actually the bottom hem, you can see here I left this end open. So I'm just going to use this as my elastic waist casing, and then I do not have to create another one, and it's already perfectly stitched and super duper even. Now, anytime you can do this, absolutely do. Whenever you can use an existing seam or an existing button placket or an existing zipper when you're refashioning, absolutely do. It makes life so much easier. And you can also see here, these were the side seams, but now they're just going to maybe be a little bit of a detail on the back because I'm going to line up this at the center of the back so it's not showing in the front, and then in the front I'm just going to have a nice flat surface. Also, by chopping it the way I did, I have the added bonus of getting rid of this super thick excess button placket here, and maybe I can use this fabric for something else, maybe like a little pocket or something. We'll see. But let's go stitch this on and then we can finish off the skirt. So as always, I'm going to put my skirt bottom and the top of the skirt together with the right sides facing and the raw edges lined up perfectly. And I got to make sure that that seam, yes, is lined up with the back center. And now I'm just going to go stitch this together. Okay, so the waistband is now all stitched on, and I just have to say that I am proud of myself with this one. First of all, for figuring out how to, use the bottom as the waistband, but also for my measuring skills on this one, which seem to be absolutely perfect. And I did actually get this in the center somehow. Usually I have it measured, it is centered, but then when I sew it, it ends up like way over here or something. But whatever, I still wear the thing because who cares? Anyway, right? Perfection is the enemy of good. And that is true. That is very true. So let's flip this up and see. Perfect. This is wonderful and it looks great. But I think what I'm going to do, because this is pretty wide up here and then the elastic casing is like way up there. And that might puff out, right? So I am going to fold this down like so and not cover up the applique, of course. So then my waistband is going to be a little bit lower, and then this part is going to just be a nice little, you know, extra security here at the waist, I guess, to cover up any seams, or if I, you know, eat a big meal, maybe that will be helpful. Anyway, so I'm going to fold this down nicely, press it, and then I shall stitch it on, and then we're going to add the elastic. Okay, so I folded down that excess waistband area and stitched it all the way around on the front. And then I realized, hey, you know what I can do? I can simply fold the top part here where I'm going to put the elastic to the inside and then stitch that all down, and then I will effectively encase this raw fraying edge here so it can't fray anymore. Plus, it does give it a really nice look on the exterior side. So that's what I'm going to do now. And the elastic waist is in and it is super duper comfortable. And then I also took a little bit more time and I bound up the bottom hem with some more of the vintage lace that I had used on the top. So now we can try it all on and style it all up. How adorably awesome did this come out? Even though I had to tweak my method and design a little bit because, you know, I really was looking forward to making trousers or a pair of pedal pushers, but whatever, it still came out absolutely perfectly perfect. Even though I say perfection is the enemy of good, in this case, this is the most perfect outfit to wear to the Barbie movie. And my adorable strawberry earrings match my button, so I'm very pleased with that. But you know what, guys? Just checking my swatch here, and it is almost time for the Barbie movie, so let's get going! Hi, I am back from the Barbie movie, and it was amazing. I don't even know what else to say. It was just absolutely amazing. Before I get into my little mini review though, I forgot to show you my awesome bag that I took with me to the movie. And I actually found this gorgeous vintage straw bag in the trash a few years ago. And yeah, I cleaned it up. Cleaned up the inside, repaired the little bits that needed repairing, and the flowers were all faded, so I simply painted them with nail polish, and it's absolutely adorable, and I've had it for a few years now, and it's awesome. So always, you know, check the side of the road trash and see if there's anything just laying on top ready for you to grab and take home and refashion. Anyway, I'm gonna have a hard time. I'm already getting emotional here. The movie was absolutely, every single positive thing that has been said about it is 100% true. And I think it will be, for anyone who sees it, that has been affected by the patriarchy in any way, shape, or form, it will definitely leave you with I guess how I'm feeling right now. There was so many scenes that just really hit me so hard, and I was definitely teary throughout certain parts in the movie, but it's not all like that. There were absolutely hilarious moments as well, but I do highly recommend seeing it. It is a beautiful, beautiful movie. It is beautifully shot. The sets are amazing. The acting is amazing. The musical numbers are fantastic as well. And it truly is a very, very special experience. And I'm very glad that I was able to share that with my daughter. This is so silly. As I said, though, I do highly recommend going and seeing it, and I hope you enjoy, and I do absolutely hope you are going to put together a lovely pink outfit for yourself, either thrift one, as I did earlier this week, or create one, and absolutely go and enjoy that movie. I'm definitely going to be going and seeing it again. I gotta go blow my nose, though. So until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I will catch you on the zigzag. Mwah!
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.